Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the St. Tammany Parish Planning Commission. Today is Tuesday, August the 14th, 2018. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Casaubon?
Here.
Mr. Lorne?
Here.
Mr. Richardson? Mr. Richard? Mr. Willie? Mr. Manella?
Here.
Mr. Davis? Mr. Fitzmaurice? Mr. Doherty? Mr. Drum? Mr. Randolph?
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. This time, we respectfully ask that you silence all phones and electronic devices. If you wish to appeal any recommendation of this board, appeals cards are to our right. If you wish to speak before the commission, we would respectfully ask that you fill out a speaker's card so we have it for the record. Each side will be provided 10 minutes to either support or oppose, with 5 minutes of rebuttal. And lastly, at the end of each case, if you wish to discuss it any further, we would ask that you leave the building, as if you go into the back foyer, it does echo into the chamber. This time, we would ask you to rise with an invocation by Commissioner Randolph, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Davis.
Once again, we come to you to say thank you. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for all the blessings you bestowed in our lives and sharing your grace and mercy upon all of us throughout this day, Lord. Even at this moment in time, we thank you. We thank you for this meeting. We thank you for these commissioners. Lord, we thank you for those that we represent, our government as well, all of our employees of this parish, and most importantly, all of our citizens. And gracious Father, continue to bless our nation, our cities, our states, our towns, communities, and our homes and our families in a mighty way. In all these blessings we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. In our packets, we have the minutes of the July 10th, 2018 meeting. Please review them. We'll entertain any motions or questions. Commissioner Randolph.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Randolph to approve. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Commissioner Richard.
Yeah, I just have one quick correction to make. On the approval of the minutes from June 12th, it says that I voted nay. I think I've abstained, as I wasn't here at the prior meeting, so it should be abstain instead of nay. Thank you.
So please note for the record that Commissioner Richard abstained, and so we'll have that corrected in the record. And then any other questions or comments? Then Commissioner Randolph and Commissioner Fitzmaurice, we do that as amended. The motions. And we have a motion by Commissioner Randolph, second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve as amended. Please vote. Motion carries. This is a public hearing. The public is encouraged to speak on behalf of or in opposition of each case. Staff, are there any postponements for this evening?
Yeah, we have, I believe, two preliminary. The Preserve at Goodby Lakes, Providence Park, and River Club Phase 3.
Would you like to address those first so we can dispatch of them? If you would, please tell me which case numbers they are so I can read them into the record.
2018-1053-PP, the Preserve at Goodby Lakes. The project was postponed to the August 14th meeting, and the developers requested postponement to the September 11 meeting.
One second here. Again, it's Hidden Lakes?
Preserve at Goodby Lakes, 2018-1053-PP.
All right, very good, thank you. This is under preliminary subdivision review,
Correct.
2018-1053-PP, the Preserve at Goodby Lakes, Ward 1, District 3, developer owner D.R. Horton, Inc., Gulf Coast. The engineer, Quality Engineering and Surveying, Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable James Thompson. Postponed from the June 12, 2018 meeting and postponed from the July 10th, 2018 meeting. Staff?
The developer is requesting postponement to the September meeting.
Very good. Is the developer here or a representative to the developer? Mr. Shane?
Good evening, sir. For the record, Jeff Shane of the Jones Fussell Law Firm, P.O. Box 1810 in Covington. I represent D.R. Horton, the developer of the tract. This case, as a few others, is currently stymied because of discussions that we're having with parish government, particularly the engineering department, as it relates to fill requirements. Although we're still actively working on the project, we are not in a position, we don't have resolution on certain issues, and I believe you'll hear that as it relates to one or two other cases this evening. We certainly hope to have those issues resolved when we come back to you in August. So I would like it set on the the September docket.
So, yeah, Mr. Shane, you'd like postponement for 1 month?
1 month, yes, sir.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the postponement? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Lauren.
September meeting?
Motion by Commissioner Lauren to postpone until the September meeting. Commissioner Randolph. Second by Commissioner Randolph. Point of information to council. Unlike final, we don't have to proceed on this in the third, is that correct? Okay. I just wanted to clarify, the commission cannot postpone, or can, but it causes issues if we postpone a final case, and just want to get clarification to that fact. Any other comments, questions? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Lauren to postpone until our September meeting, second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Staff, next postponement, which one?
2018-1105-PP, Providence Parks, Phase 1.
2018-1105-PP, Providence Parks, Phase 1, Ward 1, District 3. Developer owner, Providence Parks LLC. Engineer, SLD Engineering and Surveying. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable James Thompson, postponed from the July 10th, 2018 meeting. Staff?
The developer is requesting postponement to the September 11th meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Morone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Maroon on behalf of the Providence Park Development. I'll echo the comments from Mr. Shane with regards to the preserve at Goodby Lakes. We're still working through some of the issues with the staff. We'd request that the matter be tabled until your September meeting, where we hope to have things in place at that time and be ready to move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Morone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the postponement? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis,
I'll make a motion to postpone
till September meeting?
to September.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Davis to postpone for this until the September meeting. Commissioner Willie. Second by Commissioner Willie. Any other comments? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Davis to postpone until the September meeting. Second by Commissioner Willie. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Staff, next postponement.
2018-1149-PP, River Club, Phase 3.
Thank you. 2018-1049-PP, River Club Phase 3, Ward 1, District 1. Developer owner, River Club Development, LLC. Engineer, Kelly McHugh and Associates. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Marty Dean. Staff?
The developer is requesting postponement to the September Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Morone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Morone again, this time on behalf of River Club Development. We received the first round of comments from the staff, which we're in the process of addressing. However, we did not have time to adequately address all of them, which left too many open items. We should have those addressed by September, so we respectfully request tabling until your meeting at that time.
Thank you, Mr. Morone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the postponement? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Thank you, Mr. Morone, for not bringing a long list of items to us. And I'll make a motion to postpone for 1 month.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to postpone. Commissioner Richardson. Second by Commissioner Richardson. Any further comments or questions? We have a motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice with accolades to Mr. Morone for recognizing that the commission would like these to be complete. Second by Commissioner Richardson. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Staff, any others? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll proceed to the beginning of the agenda. Entering parish right-of-ways, servitudes, and easements, we have none. Entering the Tammany Trace, we have none. Minor subdivisions, 2018-1113-MSP, a minor subdivision of 5.85 acre parcel into parcels A, B, and C, Ward 3, District 3. Owner, Michael and Catherine Wichich. Surveyor, Land Surveying LLC. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable James Thompson. Staff?
The reason for the public hearing is that one parcel within the minor subdivision does not have public road frontage. The owner is proposing to create 3 parcels from a 5.5 acre parent parcel. A private drive will provide access to only one parcel and is therefore exempt from meeting parish road construction standards. The proposed minor subdivision meets all other parish code requirements, and staff has no objections to the request. However, the survey will need to be amended to reflect a minimum of 35-foot access servitude.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? Yes, ma'am. Or sir, whomever? Yes. Whomever the petitioner representative, if you come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and tell us why you would like this.
My name is Danny Gaspard. I'm a real estate broker with Real Estate Resource Group. And on behalf of the owners, the Wittich family, and the potential purchaser of one of the parcels, Mr. Yaniga, we prepared the 3 separate parcels, and based on my understanding of what she just presented, the only request for a variation to what's been presented is instead of a 20-foot access servitude road for that back parcel, which is where Mr. Yaniga lives in a home right now, is turning that into a 35-foot. Okay. And both parties are involved in a potential transaction, and it's dependent on the ability to minor subdivide this property.
And your parties accept the 35-foot access servitude? Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Hearing none, to close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Casabon.
Yes, Mr. Wichich, I'm familiar with this property. Does the back portion have access off of Airport Road? It doesn't. Okay, I thought there was some leeway in there. Stuff. Yes, this parcel has been here for a number of years, and I like the way they have broken it down into residential. I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve. Commissioner Willie. second by Commissioner Willie. Any further comments or questions? No, staff, we don't need a two-thirds waiver for this.
No,
correct?
there's no waiver.
Can I make one more comment? I heard Ms. Casabon say to convert it to residential. They want to maintain the current C2 zoning of commercial for the entire parcel, but in the back corner, they want to have that 1.5 acres provided for residential use, yet still zone C2. Okay.
Very good. Thank you for the clarification. We have a motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve, second by Commissioner Willie. Please vote.
Motion carries.
2018-1132-MSP, a minor subdivision of 1.3 acres. Emmanuel Silva Estate partition, Lot 8, and part of Lot 9 into Lots 9A and 8A, Ward 9, District 14. The owner, Adrian Bolden, Surveyor J.V. Burks and Associates, Inc., Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable T.J. Smith. Staff?
The reason for the public hearing is that one parcel within the minor subdivision does not have public road frontage. The parcels do not meet the minimum requirement of 1 acre, and the parcels are a part of a previously approved minor subdivision. The owner is proposing to create 2 parcels from a 1.3 acre parent parcel. A private drive will provide access to only 1 parcel and is exempt from meeting the parish road construction standards. The survey will need to be amended to reflect a minimum of 35-foot access servitude. The property does not meet the minimum lot size requirements for a minor subdivision, which is 1 acre. Additionally, if they were granted a waiver of the minimum lot size, they would also need a waiver for community and service and community water and sewer, as there is no available service in the area. If the commission decides to approve this waiver, a waiver of the regulations are required relative to the parcel size and community water and sewer. 2/3 majority vote of full membership of the commission is needed in order to approve pursuant to Part 2, Chapter 125, waiver of the regulations of the Land Development Code.
Thank you. Is the the petitioner here? Is there a representative for the petitioner? Is there anyone in the public who wishes to speak in favor of this? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Dougherty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since we have no one in the public here to represent the owner petitioner, I want to move to postpone for 1 month.
Motion by Commissioner Dougherty to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Randolph.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further comments, questions of the commission? This time we have a motion by Commissioner Dougherty to postpone for 1 month, second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Staff, if you would advise the owner or whomever the petitioner that, as consistent with this commission, a case needs to have some representation for us to address it.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. 2018-1143-MSP, a minor subdivision of 20.102 acre parcel being parcels A and B into parcels A1, A2, B1, B2, and B3. Ward 1, District 1. The owner, Donald Peter. Surveyor, John C. Cummings and Associates. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Michael Lorino. Staff?
The reason for the public hearing is that the parcels are a part of a previously approved minor subdivision. The minor subdivision meets all parish requirements, and staff has no objection to the request.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? If you come to this podium, sir, state your name and address for the record and your reason for the request.
Donald Peter, 1929 Highway 22 West, Madisonville. And I have a neighbor adjoining me, wanted to buy 2 acres out of the 5 acres that have been subdivided. Possibly might want to sell some in the future, but main other reasons from a will. made out a will, and then for the kids, to be subdivided for them.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve. Commissioner Davis.
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Davis. Any further comments? We have a motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve, second by Commissioner Davis. Please vote.
Motion carries.
2018-1144-MSP, a minor subdivision of 40.123 acres into parcels A, B, and C, Ward 7, District 7. The owner, Next Generation Investments, LLC. Surveyor, John C. Cummings and Associates. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Jacob Groby. Staff.
The reason for the public hearing is that parcels B and C do not meet the minimum lot width of 100 feet. The parcels meet the minimum lot size and road frontage requirements. However, due to the odd shape of the parent parcel, parcels B and C do not meet the minimum lot width. Staff has no objection to the request, as all other parish requirements have been met. If the commission decides to approve this request, a waiver of the regulations are required relative to the parcel width. A 2/3 majority vote, a full membership of the commission is needed to approve pursuant to Chapter 125, Section 125.244 waiver of the regulations.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here?
Yes, sir.
If you please come to the podium, sir.
Good evening, Nick Ristina with Next Generation, 106 David Drive.
And the reason for the request?
Sure. What we have here was a property that really wasn't subdivided, but we had two separate houses. We have two separate municipal addresses, two separate tax assessments. We wanted to make sure that we're able to reach the requirements of having at least an acre, and we're able to accomplish that with the way it was subdivided. We also have the appropriate frontage. Our problem was it's an odd shape. It comes into a cone, and we, as you can see, logically wanted to keep uniformity and keep it in line with the adjacent property. And you'll see we successfully accomplished that with the survey by keeping it in line. Otherwise, you're going back into the back property to try to then expand it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis.
A question for the gentleman that was just up here.
Yes, sir.
Parcel A, so the only way, the entrance is to be right off of Fish Hatchery Road on the northern side?
Yes, sir.
So it blocks off any southern entrance, those other two parcels on the bottom, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Davis to approve.
Thank you.
Commissioner Randolph.
A second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Commissioner Davis, that's to approve with waiver? Thank you. Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further comments, questions? We have a motion by Commissioner Davis to approve with waiver. Second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
Motion carries.
2018-1147-MSP, a minor subdivision of 6.92 acres, parcels A2A and A2B into parcels A2, A2, and A2B2, Ward 4, District 5. The owner, Rita Stevens and Lexi Mellarine. Surveyor, John E. Bono and Associates. Parish Council District Representative, and the Honorable Reichert Toledano. Staff.
The reason for the public hearing is the parcels were part of a previously approved minor subdivision. Staff has no objection to the request, as all parish requirements have been met.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? Ma'am, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Mary Thompson, and the property owners are my mother and my aunt. And we had previously had a minor subdivision done for the acre that's towards the bottom, the A2B, last year, because we were going to keep that acre within the family and build a house. And then since then, my mom has gotten sick, so we decided to renovate the current home that is on A2 and keep the house there. And we had someone interested in purchasing the acre that we subdivided last year, but they wanted more of the property, so that is why, as you can see on the survey, it's they wanted the acre A2B plus what's now parcel A2B2. And then we found out that apparently the whole area had been rezoned a couple of years ago or a few years ago for MD1, which is medical residential, and we didn't know that, and we live there, so we were advised to have the property rezoned back to residential as well. So we have that submitted as well for next month, to have the property rezoned back to residential, not medical. So
Very good, thank you.
okay.
Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come to the podium, ma'am, state your name and address.
Samantha Keene, I live at 428 Colonial Court. And actually, listening to her was very helpful because I've tried to call the planning committee at the phone number I was given, and I can't get anyone to return my calls. So when I asked questions, I believe some of the information I received was misleading because they explained that they wanted to put a small subdivision which would allow between 6 and 11 homes there. And if I understand correctly, they're actually only looking to divide the property and turn it back into residential?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, one of our concerns in the area is we have a great deal of flooding that goes on back through there. And when they took that property that they zoned into medical and turned it into what they were gonna turn into as medical offices and built the retention pond, it is creating additional flooding in our area that we were told was going to get better. And if we have any more traffic that's going up and down Hickory, my concerns there are if we have more addresses there when they do convert it and they have entrances onto Hickory, the roads can't sustain that. They're not wide enough to begin with, and the roads are in such poor shape through there. And all of our stuff that floods through there, the ditches have nowhere to go. So if they're going to add anything in there, whether it be more homes, more buildings, or anything, we need to consider the fact that the area of flooding has continued to get worse because of the first portion of the project. So I'd like to follow this and see where it goes.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Charles Acosta. I live at 420 Colonial Court. And much of what my neighbor has said, I'm 4 houses down from her, we're experiencing a lot of flooding. And again, that's not the whole point of this meeting, I understand that. But they came to dig the ditches. I just want to make this final statement. They came to dig the ditches for us, and one of the architects told me, that works for St.Tammany Water and Sewer, that there's a delta of 80,000 gallons per minute that the water has nowhere to go, and we're just concerned as homeowners. So I just wanted to voice that concern.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? Okay, ma'am, if you'd like to make any comments, you have 5 minutes to rebut.
I think I know where they're talking about. It's on the other side of where our property is. There's woods that separate us, and they're talking about an area that I guess they're building medical offices now. So I do know where they're talking about, but I don't know if this makes a difference, but I know that where we live, where I'm talking about right now, I think the rule is you can only build a house, like one home, and it has to be, the minimum size is 1 acre lot. So if they're concerned, as far as I'm aware of, if they're concerned is any kind of subdivision going in, that can't happen where I'm talking about. They actually built a house near where we live, and it's on a 1 acre piece of property. So as far as I understand, it can't be made into like a subdivision with multiple homes or anything that they're concerned about.
And at this time, that's not your intention, is that correct?
No, it's not our intention.
Okay.
So we're just, the people that wanted to purchase the 1 acre actually wanted to purchase more of it. So we said, that's, fine with us, because it's a lot of property to take care of, and my mother and my aunt are elderly, and it's kind of like they were wanting to get, split it up to have less for us all to take care of as well, so.
Thank you.
And Chairman, just for the record, their request is to rezone it to A1A, which is one dwelling per 3 acres, so.
Very good, and that'll be next month. That's on the docket.
It's on
for
the
next
agenda
month.
for next month.
Thank you. Opposition, you also have 5 minutes, and if you'd like to make any further comments? No? Very good. Well, then at this time, we'll close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Mrs. Thompson, if you can come to the podium for one second. The retention pond that was being referred to, that's not on your property, right?
No, sir.
So there's a different parcel?
Yeah, they're talking about a portion of property along Hickory Street that is being turned into a medical park. And the way the zoning is right now, a lot of the swath of land that is on Hickory Street, it can only be residential or whatever the multifamily residential is. So I guess since they're building a medical park, they couldn't build anything on that part. So there's a big pond there now. So I guess they could only leave it as green space or a pond, and they put a pond.
Okay.
So, but it is behind their street, which is Colonial. It's like on the corner of Colonial and Hickory.
Understood.
So.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve. Commissioner Randolph.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Commissioner Willie.
Yes, the lady mentioned about requesting rezoning for next month, I think. But if she sells the property, she won't be the property owner to rezone that property if it sells before she rezones. And sometimes the rezoning might take 2 or 3 months, so.
Yes, that's true. But the new property owner could also file a request as well, but as of right now, they are the property owner, so they had to file the request.
Okay.
But they're allowed to put a residence there in the front part of the property, because the front part is zoned residential. It's just the back part of the property is zoned MD1. So in order to get it all consistently zoned the same zoning district.
But if the property sale goes before the zoning request is complete, then the new people could actually put a facility there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Dougherty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is for staff. Jay, is there anything going on with drainage in this particular area to improve the drainage?
I believe the drainage detention pond that they're referring to is Pontchartrain Medical Park subdivision detention pond, but I'd have to check to see if there's any other drainage projects in the area right now.
Okay, would you do that and let me know at the zoning meeting? Thank you.
Will do.
Any other questions or comments of the commission? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve, second by Commissioner Randolph. Oh, excuse me, Commissioner Davis.
Question for Ms. Thompson? So with the request for the rezoning too, which you'll be doing next month, you're requesting the entire 6.92 acres to be A1A, correct?
The back portion that is MD1 currently, we are requesting for it to be residential.
And what about the front portion that's currently A5?
The front portion is, I think it's called, I guess A5, is that doubles?
Yeah, it's A5. And I can't remember exactly how far the A5 went back.
Yes, I don't have a picture of where
But
that line is, where
right,
that
but
stops.
you intend on selling that front parcel that has 3 acres, correct?
Yes.
Well, why not just go ahead and make A1A for the entire 6
Well, because the people who are purchasing it, they were gonna do their rezoning just because of the cost of rezoning, because it was based on per acre. And so we paid for the rezoning of ours that we're keeping, and then they have to come in and have their portion rezoned as well. I think
I'm
that's the way
sorry.
we did it.
So you're asking to rezone only a portion of the parcel?
The portion that we're keeping, that we're subdividing the A2, and then the A2, B2, and the portion where our house sits, that's where we want to.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned because Commissioner Willie was actually just stating that, which means is after tonight, the person that you're selling the front parcel to does have A5, and he can split that up into smaller.
Well, no, I don't think that they can. The only part that's A5 is a small part right across the front, and it stops probably, it doesn't go too far back. Where it says 359.24, where the 3 is, if you draw a line straight across, that's
Okay.
approximately how far back the A5 goes. And I don't know what the measurements of what a A5 lot can be, but I don't think they can do that.
Okay,
Like,
thank
I mean,
you.
as far as what I know, I don't think
No,
they can do
you're-
that.
you're right.
As far as what we've been told, that they are not wanting to divide it that much and put it anything commercial or anything like that. They're just homes.
Okay, thank you.
Single homes, so.
A question for staff. If her portion in the back is going to be rezoned to A1A, how much A5 is left on the entire 6.92 acres?
I don't have the request in front of me, but I believe that it only goes back about 150 feet off of Hickory. So it is the front portion of Hickory, 150 feet-ish back.
Okay, thank you.
The request for the rezoning is just for the MD1. That's the only zoning they want changed. Everything else will remain as is.
I believe so.
Okay. Very good. Any other questions? We have a motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve, second by,
Can I ask another question? I'm sorry, just out of clarity, I don't know if I can ask or not. When you say that section is being zoned, does that mean would it still belong to them and they can sell it and still divide
well,
it up?
in all due respect to your question, this is a planning meeting. That's a good question in the zoning meeting.
I'm sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. When and if they do it, whatever that request might be, but we don't have that case. We're not sure exactly what it will be. But again, that agenda will come out for next month, and I think you'll get more clarification to that, and will be able to address any questions you have at that time as well, ma'am. Thank you. And we have a motion by Commissioner Fitzmaurice to approve, second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Petitions, requests, revocations, closing review. Revocation 18-07-004. A revocation of Pam Drive, located within Holiday Acre subdivision east of Slidell, Ward 8, District 13. The applicant, John Mark Vaughn, Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Michelle Blanchard. Staff?
The applicant is proposing to revoke a portion of 6th Street in order to assimilate the property into their adjacent property. Staff sent certified letters notifying the property owners of Lot 23, Holiday Acres subdivision, and Lot 374, French Branch Estates, that the revocation process has been initiated. The property owner has 10 days to respond. If there's no response, the parish assumes the property owner has no objection. Let's see. Staff did receive a letter of no objection from the property owners of Lot 23. Staff believes that the proposal is consistent relative to Louisiana revised statutes governing the revocation of a movable property, since the right-of-way does not appear to serve any public use or benefit other than the applicants. Staff has no objection to the proposed revocation request, subject to the applicant's assimilation of their portion of the right-of-way into their adjacent properties through the parish re-subdivision process.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here?
Mark Vaughn, owner-occupier, 201 South Holiday Drive, Slidell.
I was going to say, you can adjust that. Good. The reason for your request?
It's a nice piece of property adjacent to ours, and it's not being used, just overgrown at this point. Kids play on it, and it'd be nice to just include it in our property.
And that was the cut through for a future road?
French Branch wasn't back there when they built built Holiday Acres. I don't know
Yeah, there's
Can't find
several of
any
them.
history of
There's
it.
several of them through French Branch.
Yeah,
That-
it backs up to, it ends in somebody's lot in French Branch.
Very good, thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of this? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Denise Kilroy, 103 South Holiday Drive in Slidell.
You can adjust the microphone, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not revoking or rebutting this. My only statement that I would like to have recorded is when we offered to buy this property in 1994, we were denied. So I'd like you to take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? Sir, if you'd like to make any further comments, you may. The petitioner? No. Very good. This time, we would close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Willie.
Okay, we got it. You mentioned that Pam Drive ends at a budding lot in the rear, on the south part?
It butts up to,
Oh, I need to ask the gentleman, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and French Branch is a cul-de-sac, and there's 2 or 3 lots that go into a kind of a V.
So the lot it butts up to wouldn't need access to South Holiday Drive at all?
No, there's no,
There's no way to get, I
there's
don't know
no
the
access
terrain
to
or
it.
anything.
It'd be
so-
the very back of their yard. There's no.
Okay, thank you.
No way to access it.
Actually, I can answer that. I'm a resident there, and I'm very, very familiar with the development. What they did is they put these, what would be future cut-throughs, and they ended up expanding the lots. Most of the lots in there are at minimum of 1 acre, and so they just never went through. The developer didn't have any need to do so. So there are several of these in that development, and they're just green spaces virtually. They could not cut through anymore. They're just there. They're owned by the parish. Commissioner Lauren.
Yes, could I get the young lady to come up, please? Two quick questions. Do you own either Lot 23 or Lot 22?
yes, 23.
23. And when you offered to buy the property,
Right,
who were you going to buy it from, the parish?
the parish. And we were denied.
Okay, so now the gentleman,
Wants to purchase it, and it's for sale.
thank you.
Commissioner Dougherty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, we didn't receive a letter of no objection from the lady there on Lot 23, but I personally don't see any reason to object, and what the reason was back in 1994, I believe the lady said. I have no idea, but I'll go ahead and put a motion on the floor to approve the revocation.
Motion by Commissioner Dougherty to approve. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Any further comments of the commission? We have a motion by Commissioner Casabon.
Is it possible that they were still in the process of completing these subdivisions and stuff, that it was at that time thought they may need this particular opening?
In 1994.
In 94, were these here?
Very, very likely.
Probably
There was
they
still
were
de-
not
there was
finished.
still development going on in that area.
Well, at this time, since we have this situation and stuff, is there such a thing, I've asked council, if you display, if it's 60 feet, each side would get 30 feet?
Assuming the commission does approve this and the ordinance is adopted by the parish council, both adjoining property owners would have an opportunity to acquire all or a portion of that
But
property.
that's something that would be worked out later? or-
Correct.
Okay, we're just revoking tonight to give them the opportunity. Gotcha. Do we have a second?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. No further questions. We have a motion by Commissioner Dougherty to approve, second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Re-subdivision review, 2018-1146-MRP. Tammany Forest Subdivision, Lot 19, Block 2, Lacombe. Owner, Coast Builders, LLC. Surveyor, J.V. Burks and Associates, Inc. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Jacob B. Groby III. Staff?
The reason for the public hearing is the property requires approval from the Planning Commission to construct a residence on a substandard lot of record pursuant to Section 125-84 contiguous lot rule. The property does meet the minimum lot area of 5,000 square feet, but does not meet the minimum lot width of 50 feet. The property is between two developed parcels, leaving the property unable to obtain more lot frontage.
Thank you. Mr. Marone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone on behalf of Coast Builders LLC. Mr. Kornman, this is an existing lot of record that was laid out when Tammany Forest subdivision was laid out. My client acquired it and is unable to acquire the adjacent parcels because they're already in commerce. So we would respectfully request your approval to build on this particular lot. I would point out that although it lacks the required frontage, as Ms. Bartholomew noted, it does have the lot area. Also, it is configured such that we can meet all of the existing setback requirements. So we will not need any relief whatsoever with regards to the existing setbacks on the parcels and those setbacks that are enjoyed on the adjacent parcels as well. We'd respectfully request your approval, subject to those comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Davis to approve. Commissioner Lauren. Second by Commissioner Lauren. Any further comments? We have a motion by Commissioner Davis to approve, second by Commissioner Lauren. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Dormant subdivision review, tentative subdivision, we have none. Tentative subdivision review, we have none. Preliminary subdivision review. The first on your agenda, 2018-1053-PP, has been postponed until next month. 2018-1105-PP has been postponed until next month. 2018-1106-PP, Lakeshore Villages, Phase 4A, Ward A, District 13. Developer owner D.R. Horton, Inc., Gulf Coast. Engineer Duplantis Design Group, LLC. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Michelle Blanchard. Postponed from the July 10th, 2018 meeting. Staff?
Preliminary plans and hydrologic study have been reviewed by this office and an inspection of the site was made. It's recommended that the preliminary submittal be approved subject to the following. Number one, TIA approval from the parish and DOTD is still pending. Number two, the developers requested a waiver of regulations of Section 125-199 of Parish Code, which states that the construction of model homes shall be limited to 5 home sites or 10% of the total number of lots within each phase of the development receiving preliminary approval, whichever is the lesser amount. Please see the attached email from Jeff Shane. Informational items, a funded maintenance obligation in the amount of $10,000 is required in accordance with St.Tammany Parish Code of Ordinances, Part 2, Land Development Code, Chapter 125, Subdivision Regulations, Article 7, Studies, Plans, and Review Procedures, Section 125-201, Maintenance Obligations, Paragraph A, funded letters of credit for existing parish roads to ensure the repair of any damage to the parish roads resulting from the construction in connection with the subdivision. No mandatory developmental fee is required at final in accordance with the Land Development Code, Chapter 125, Subdivision Regulations, since a public hearing was held prior to January 1st, 2005. The developer is hereby advised that upon application for final subdivision approval, the engineer of record for the development shall certify in writing that all aspects of construction have been completed in accordance with the approved plans and parish ordinances. If any construction activity is proposed that's not in substantial compliance with the approved plans and parish ordinances, the engineer of record for the development shall notify in writing the Department of Development prior to beginning said construction activity. The developer and/or engineer of record shall obtain written approval from the Department of Development prior to beginning any proposed construction activity that's not in substantial compliance with the approved plans and parish ordinances. Revised drawings will not be accepted prior to the August 14, 2018 Planning Commission meeting to ensure that any additional comments at the meeting can be incorporated into the revised plans.
Thank you. Mr. Shane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, Jeff Shane, for the record. I represent D.R. Horton, the owner and developer of this tract. We're certainly in accord with staff comments and respectfully request that you grant preliminary subdivision approval for Phase 4A. We understand as it relates to the TIA that we will not receive an unlimited work order until that TIA has been approved by both state and parish. Revisions to the TIA have been made, and that study is underway at this time. We also would respectfully request a waiver by you as it relates to the number of model homes that can be constructed in this phase. You will also see under old business later this evening, we have 2 other phases of this development wherein we will request a similar waiver. By way of background, I hope you've had a chance to maybe review my email that's in your packet dated July 30. I think you would be interested to know that parish government, you had 2 representatives from the commission, Chairman Manella and Mr. Richard, as well as probably 10 to 15 other participants had meetings on June 7th and also July 30 to discuss this issue amongst others. The thinking as it relates to the waiver is that this is a unique situation where the developer is in fact the general contractor of each home, and that there is no risk to the general public that someone would be able to build a home and sell it to a third party, because you can't do that until we come back to you as a commission for final subdivision approval and have the lots actually platted. So we believe that in a spirit of not only economy but efficiency, there really is no risk to the general public or the parish. The risk, if any, is to the developer, who understands that as we build these homes from the ground up, that until and unless we receive final subdivision, we are not able to occupy these homes and or sell these homes. That is a risk that certainly my client's willing to undertake. We don't take it casually. It means that we know we have to do a good job in the construction of the infrastructure, meet all of your standards and ordinances, so that we will be a candidate to get final subdivision approval when all infrastructure is complete. So hopefully that gives you a good explanation of the request for the waiver. If any of you have any questions in that regard, I'll be glad to address them at the right time.
Thank you, Mr. Shane. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As Mr. Shane stated, their request at first seemed a little unusual, but this developer is also the builder, and as they want to put the infrastructure in the ground, they'd like to begin building homes, and they do them all simultaneously. Our initial concern is, well, wait, if you do that, we don't have final subdivision. You've got a lot of money in the ground here and a lot of houses going up without any of our approval. But in that particular instance, it was clear that the risk is really on the developer and the builder. So we have a 10% limitation based on the size of this project. That's a limiting factor in their operation. So I'm supporting the waiver as requested. I don't see that there is any risk to the general public, and ultimately this commission will have final say on the finals before anything gets signed and sold. So I've been moved to approve with the requested waiver.
Thank you. Commissioner Randolph.
That with the request of waiver, and I have a question also.
Please proceed, Mr. Randolph.
Mr. Shane, in reference to the waiver, more specifically to 5 homes or 10% or whichever is lesser, how would we, or developer or the general contractor, monitor that? How would we know which one is the lesser?
Well, we're asking for a waiver that we be restricted to the minimum, which is the lesser of 5 or 10%.
Okay.
The monitor system, I think, would be that it would still be incumbent upon the developer to procure a building permit for each site to build a single-family structure. Even though final subdivision approval has not been granted, the lots have not been platted. So you would know which homes are under construction. They would not have the right to just initiate construction. And of course, the homes would be subject to the same inspection process that would occur if the homes were being built after final subdivision approval has been obtained.
So basically, that'd be handled administratively with staff?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
And just a comment and echoing Commissioner Richard's, because I was present at those meetings as well. They were very comprehensive, and it is extremely unique given the size of the development, but more importantly, as Mr. Shane and Commissioner Richard stated, virtually the risk, a substantial capital risk, is on the developer solely, and is clearly stated and documented. Until such time that this commission were to grant final, none of those homes can be sold. So they will invest substantial capital in each one just sitting on inventory, but recognizing the efficiency of their process and that they control the entire process gives them advantage to build out faster. Are there any other questions or comments for the commission? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Richard to approve with the waiver, second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
Motion carries.
2018-1148-PP, River Club Phase 2, Ward 1, District 1. Developer owner, River Club Development, LLC. Engineer Kelly McHugh and Associates. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Marty Dean. Staff.
Preliminary plans and hydrologic study have been reviewed by this office and an inspection of the site was made. It's recommended that the preliminary submittal be approved, subject to the following comments. General comments, number 1, the developer has requested a waiver of regulations for the minimum finished floor elevation for lots along the waterway to be 12 inches above the street. Number 2, the developer has requested a waiver of regulations for the maximum block length of 1,500 feet. Number 3, the developer has requested a waiver of regulations for detention requirements in accordance with Ordinance 11-2426. Therefore, the Department of Development has calculated a drainage fee in lieu of detention as follows: 38.51 acres at $2,000 per acre for $77,020. This calculation includes the entire footprint of Phase 2. However, in 2013, the Planning Commission approved the developer's request in River Club Phase 1 to exclude the green space and waterways from the calculation. Similarly, the developer has submitted a letter, see attached, detailing the request to remove the green space and waterways from the area used for the calculation of the fee in lieu of detention for River Club Phase 2. If the Planning Commission agrees with the request, the following calculation can be used: 27.55 acres times $2,000 per acre for $55,100. Please note that unlike Phase 1, the developer is proposing to install a walking path in the Phase 2 green space. The fee shall be due prior to the issuance of any work orders by the parish. Number 4, provide the geotechnical report that is referenced in the typical section on the preliminary plat. On the preliminary plat, number 5, include in the restrictive covenants that the HOA will also be required to maintain the proposed walking trail. Paving and drainage plan, number 6, the subsurface pipe which encroaches onto lot 136 needs to be relocated to within the road right-of-way. Number 7, relabel section CC detail as simply a walking path detail or provide a location for the section on the plan sheet. On the sewer and water plan, number 8, show the access drive for the lift station and the lift station detail and on the paving and drainage sheet. On the SWIP and signage plan, number 9, the coastal use permit on file for River Club has expired in 2017. Provide this office with a current coastal use permit. Informational items, no funded maintenance obligation is required since this is an extension of a private subdivision. Mandatory developmental fees will be required at final submittal in accordance with St. Tammany Parish Code of Ordinances, Part 2, Land Development Code, Chapter 125, Subdivision Regulations, since no public hearing was held prior to January 1st, 2005. The developer is hereby advised that upon final application for final subdivision approval, the engineer of record for the development shall certify in writing that all aspects of construction have been completed in accordance with the approved plans and parish ordinances. If any construction activity is proposed that is not in substantial compliance with the approved plans and parish ordinances, the engineer of record for the development shall notify in writing the Department of Development prior to beginning said construction activity, and the developer and/or engineer of record shall obtain written approval from the Department of Development prior to beginning any proposed construction activity that is not in substantial compliance with the approved plans or parish ordinances. Revised drawings will not be accepted prior to the August 14, 2018 Planning Commission meeting to ensure that any additional comments at the meeting can be incorporated into the revised plans.
Thank you. Mr. Marone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone on behalf of the developers of River Club. Of the staff comments, items 4 through 8 are all revisions to the plat. None of them are problematic or substantive, and we will have those revisions made. With regards to item 9, the coastal use permit, we have applied for an extension of that permit since it did expire. We expect to have that extension granted shortly, and we'll provide that to your staff. The remainder of the comments deal with the 3 waivers that we've requested, so I'd like to touch on each of those. You may recall that each of these waivers were part of the Phase 1 request, so these are identical to the request made during Phase 1 and which were granted as part of Phase 1. But to refresh your memory, the first, there is the parish requirement that the finished floor elevation of the lots be 12 inches above the street. In this instance, in particular with these lots that abut the bayou, there is significant fall from the street to the bayou. Where the house pads will be located, there is such an elevation difference that while the house pads will be a foot above the base flood elevation, they will not be a foot above the crown of the street. To do that would put things out of whack with regards to the fall and the slope of the land. So we would respectfully request that that provision be waived. Again, the home's finished floor elevations will be in excess of the base flood elevation, but because of the nature of the land, they will not be above the crown of the street. The second request is for a waiver of the 1,500-foot block length. You've seen this request during our PUD review as well as during Phase 1, as I mentioned before. We are 165 feet beyond the requirement. However, given the nature of the property, the bayou on one side, our property line on the other side, there is really no other configuration that we could have to break that up, given that we're only 165 feet beyond it. Respectfully, it's not a significant departure, and we would again request a waiver of the block length. Finally, with regards to the waiver of the detention requirements, in the lower third of the basin, as you may recall, we are eligible, rather than constructing retention, to pay the fee. We're asking to do that, but as we have with this project and other projects when the fee comes into play, we are asking that that calculation be made based on the ground that is being utilized and not the green space and not the bayou area. All of the projects that I've been involved in that have had the fee used, the green space has been taken out, and we would ask again that that is the manner in which the calculation be made with regards to Phase 2 of River Club. I'll be happy to answer any other questions that any of the commissioners might have about any of the comments, particularly any of the waivers that we've requested, but we would ask for your approval this evening with the 3 waivers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marone. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor? Anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis.
A question for staff. I didn't get a copy of the plat for this one. Did any of the commissioners have one?
The developer didn't provide the plats.
Okay. Question, Paul? What a shocker.
Yes.
Now what?
I was not aware that that the plats were not provided. Just the plat or none of the plats? That's news to me, Mr. Davis. I was not aware of that. Had I been aware of that, probably would have had different comments than you just heard a moment ago.
Yes, I'm sorry, I did keep you hanging like that, too.
In light of the fact that no plats have been provided, we would ask that the matter be tabled this evening until your next meeting so that the commission has an opportunity to review those plats before you're asked to move on it.
Thank you, sir. I'll make a motion to postpone until next month.
Motion by Commissioner Davis to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Dougherty.
I'll second Mr. Davis's motion. Paul, I do have a question concerning the lack of a retention pond. Is this going to meet the 25% reduction, or it's not going to meet the 25%?
They're requesting to pay a fee in lieu of detention, and because of their location.
So the people downstream
they're
are
in the
going to
lower
have
portion
to
of the
accept the
drain.
water.
Excuse me?
The people that are downstream from this development will have to accept the post-development runoff.
And the development is directly adjacent to the Chafuncta River in the lower portion of the drainage basin, and it's in accordance with the parish ordinance to be able to pay a fee.
So it will go
in
into the
lieu
river
of-
then?
Yes.
Okay.
And for clarity, and Mr. Watson can correct me if I'm wrong, but as I've always understood the provision, in the lower third of the basin, really what you want to do is you want that water to get out of there. Rather than retaining it, as you get further up in the basin, you want to hold it, but in the lower part, that's one of the reasons for this provision, as I appreciate
And
it.
that makes more sense now with your comments and Mr. Watson's comment. There was a comment about the homeowners association maintaining the walkways and so forth, and I'm assuming that there is a mandatory homeowners association dues.
That is correct. All of that is in place and it is mandatory.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments of the commission? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Davis to postpone until next month, second by Commissioner Dougherty. Please vote.
Motion approved.
2018-1049-PP has been postponed till next month as well. Final subdivision review, 2018-1104-FP, Abita Lakes, Phase 3B2, Ward 10, District 6. Developer owner, Abita Lakes LLC. Engineer, Duplantis Design Group LLC. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable Richard Tanner. This was postponed from the July 10th, 2018 meeting. Staff?
Periodic inspections have been made by this office during construction, and the final inspection was made on August 3rd, 2018. The inspection disclosed that all of the asphalt roads, road shoulders are constructed, and the roadside ditches are functioning. The following uncompleted items existed at the time of final inspection and will be completed before the plats are signed. On the final plat, number 1, include in the dedication statement that all street names, signs, traffic control signs, and signposts will be privately owned and maintained. Number 2, 911 addresses need to be shown on the final plat in accordance with 911 addressing approval. On the as-built paving and drainage plan, 3, provide proposed elevations for the top of the pond bank. 4, provide as-built elevations for the ditch along the north and east side of Camden Park Drive, starting at the entrance of the subdivision. 5, show the driveway access to the sewer lift station, including material, width, and culvert information, and include this on all plan sheets. 6, provide as-built elevations for the outfall ditch at the rear of Lot 49A. Number 7, update the as-built drainage and grading plan in accordance with the fill and grading statement. Design elevations must be provided at all property corners, and provide a note on the plat stating that the individual home builders are responsible for grading the lots to drain in accordance with the as-built drainage plan. Number 8, based on the as-built elevations, the drainage servitude between lots 61A and 62A will hold water, regrade the rear and side lot swales from 60A to 61A to provide positive drainage in this area. Number 9, provide a cross-section of the 20-foot drainage servitude on the south edge of the subdivision. Informational items, should the Planning Commission approve the request for final, a warranty obligation will be required for the infrastructure in the amount of 2,955 linear feet at $22 per linear foot for $65,000 for a period of 2 years. Staff recommends approval of the proposed final subdivision request, subject to the developer complying with all comments, and no plats are to be signed until all items are satisfactorily completed. No mandatory developmental fees are required since a public hearing was held prior to January 1st, 2005. The subdivision is within the urban growth boundary line, and revised drawings will not be accepted prior to the August 14, 2018 Planning Commission meeting to ensure that any additional comments established at the meeting can be incorporated into the revised plans.
Thank you. Mr. Bruno.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's always a pleasure to see all of you, and I appreciate your service. Robert Bruno, 71208 Hickam Field Lane, Covington, Louisiana. I don't want to take much time because I really want to kind of turn this over to Tommy Buckle, who's going to be able to address all of the issues. But I wanted to just say a few words to remind you of what a disaster this was when our family bought it. As you can see, it's been a mess since 2005. We happened to be in a unique situation to buy it from First American Bank because we happened to have some wetlands credits. The previous developer, if you all remember, some of y'all probably weren't even on the commission at the time, but probably broke every law and you can imagine. Wetlands violation, disaster, total chaos. We have solved all of the problems, and we're at the last 17 lots. We just didn't feel it would be prudent for our reputation and our company to walk away from a real potential nightmare of a hazard for the neighbors, and I think all of the neighbors have spoken on many times how happy they were that we came in there and basically potentially saved lives of children and things of that nature, because we had four-wheelers, we had open ditches, we had, it was really awful. And we spent really too much money on too little of a profit margin here. What are you going to do? Anyway, we've been working really hard on this thing. We're very proud of what we've accomplished. It's really going to be the crown jewel of a very popular subdivision in the Abita area. So, you know, we're always happy to have our name affixed to quality projects. And so I know there's a lot of things there, but we've addressed them all. And if you have any questions after Tommy finishes, then he'll be much more attuned in how to answer them than I will. I just want to let you know that we've been working real hard on this one, so we'd look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bruno.
Thank you. I just real quickly to run through the 9 comments. So 2 were related to the plat. The plat has actually been revised. We had Land Source Surveying revise these comments and provide us additional information. And then on the as-built paving and drainage plans, 7 of the comments are related to plat or related to comments and information that we needed to add to the paving and drainage plan. 1 was physically required some reconstruction of the field. That reconstruction has been done. We have already got the as-built information back in. Obviously, we can't share this with staff until after today's meeting, but I just wanted to let y'all know that that physical construction activity has been done. We kind of pride ourselves on not having so many staff comments coming in the final. This was a unique project for us because we inherited a project that was done by a firm that was no longer in business today. So we have tried to quickly address these things that staff needed to have a good set of as-built, and I think we were there. So if you have any further questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, we close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Lauren.
I guess this would probably be best addressed to Mr. Bruno, maybe? Sure. The staff's recommendation was recommended to approve contingent upon the developer agreeing to all of these terms. And I just wanted to make sure that you're comfortable with all of these terms.
Yes, absolutely. The bank's waiting in the wings with the bond. The repair's been made, as Tommy has suggested. Everything Jay asked us to do, we did. Like I said, it was it was a tricky little deal, but it had to be done, and I think we're proud of it. So, but you're right, we stand behind everything we say. We always do.
Well, it's always good to have it confirmed.
Completely agree. Definitely get it on
Thank
the
you.
record.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Lauren to approve. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Commissioner Richard. That's enough. And again, for the commission, when we come to final, it's been very consistent with the commission. Mr. Bruno knows, Tommy, you know as well, and other developers. We expect a few administrative comments is fine, but that the substantial completion of construction is complete. And the commission on a go forward has been very consistent to postpone. And again, we commend you for following what is expected and you delivering that. With that being said, we have a motion by Commissioner Lauren to approve, followed by, second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Please vote.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Amendments to Chapter 125 subdivision regulations, we have none. Old business. Act of correction. The Estates at Watercross, Phase 1A, 2016-382-FP, and Phase 1B, 2017-584-FP. The owner, developer, Watercross Development, LLC. Surveyor, John E. Bono and Associates, Inc. Phase 1A, an act of correction to revise building setback lines for lots 137 through 142. Phase 1B, an act of correction to revise building setback lines for lots 104 through 110 and 111 through 113. Waiver staff.
Honorable Commissioners, the above caption, Act of Corrections, have been received by the Department of Development Engineering. Please see the attached email from the developer with the request.
Thank you. Mr. Marone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone again, this time on behalf of the Weiner family and the developers of Watercross subdivision. This request stems from an issue that we're having on the ground with the construction of some of the houses. The houses the market has dictated a larger house is more desirable in this area, which has resulted in, because of the setbacks, having to go to 2 stories, which many of the builders and the end users would like to avoid if possible. So we are asking to reduce the setbacks as noted in these 2 phases to 20 foot on the front, 5 on the sides, and 15 on the rear to accommodate the larger houses and to be able to have single-story houses to meet the market demand out there. I will tell you that these very setbacks, the Weiner family is also utilizing in this area in Maison du Lac. It has worked very well, so we are very comfortable that there will not be any problems stemming from this. It'll still be a very quality product, still enough room, still adequate yard and green space, but be able to provide the unit that the market's asking for. So we would respectfully request your approval to allow us to have this act of correction executed and recorded to revise and reform the setbacks accordingly.
Thank you, Mr. Marone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis.
Paul?
Yes, sir.
It's from lots, Phase 1B is from lots 111 to 133, correct? Not 113, as was in the original listing act of correction. Is that correct?
It's 111 to 133.
133.
Yes.
I'm not trying to cause any troubles here, but is there a reason why you have a separation instead of just saying from lots 10, hang on, I
104.
lost my train of thought here.
104. 104,
Yeah.
133.
104 to 133? Why on the act of correction by the survey, it just doesn't clearly say lots 104 to 133 with the same setbacks?
There is a reason for that.
Thank you.
It's not a very good reason, but there is a
Oh,
reason
okay.
now that you
Well,
pointed it out
I'm just
to me.
questioning because, I'm just trying to not carry the 3.
Because in the initial draft, they weren't, all of the setbacks were not going to be 25 and 15. There was a difference between some of the setbacks on 104 to 110. They were different from 111 to 133. However, after the developer went back to the builders and they talked further, they decided to make them all consistent. So when that was done in here, they just changed the setbacks rather than lumping them all together.
Okay.
So, not a good answer, but your question was very good, so in the final form, we'll clean that up.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Davis to approve. Commissioner Randolph.
A second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further comments of the commission? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Davis to approve, second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
Motion approved.
A waiver request. Lakeshore Villages Phase 3A 2018-992-PP and Phase 1B 2018-1068-MRP. Owner Developer DR Horton, Inc., Gulf Coast. A waiver request to remove the maximum number of model homes allowed per subdivision. Section 125-199. Staff.
Honorable Commissioners, the developers requested a waiver of regulations of Section 125-199 Parish Code, which states the construction of model homes shall be limited to 5 home sites or 10% of the total number of lots within each phase of the development receiving preliminary approval, whichever is the lesser amount. Please see the attached email from Mr. Jeff Shane.
Thank you. Mr. Shane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I represent DR Horton, the same issue that you considered earlier this evening during preliminary subdivision approval for Phase 4A. So unless any of you have any particular questions, we would ask that that waiver be granted for these 2 phases as well.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Randolph. Motion by Commissioner Randolph to approve. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Any further comments? Seeing none, we have a motion by Commissioner Randolph to approve, second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Please vote.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Is there any new business to come before the commission? Commissioner Richard.
Earlier in the evening, we postponed the case because the petitioner wasn't present due to a miscommunication. The petitioner is now present. Is it something, I'll have to ask legal counsel, that we can hear the case? I don't believe there was anyone in the audience who objected, but we have moved on and postponed it till next month. So I'll ask legal if we should consider it.
You can. It was a unanimous vote to postpone it. Any member of the prevailing party may move to reconsider it with a second and a vote, and you can bring it back onto the floor.
Commissioner Richard, which case are we specifically speaking of? Or staff?
It's case number 2018-1132 MSP.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Richard, would you care to make a motion to reconsider? Let me give you the floor. Okay.
I'd like to place a motion to reconsider the case.
Motion by Commissioner Richard to reconsider the postponement of case 2018-1132-MSP. Commissioner Fitzmaurice.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Any further comments of the commission? We have a motion by then Commissioner Richard, second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Please vote. Oh, one second. Commissioner Randolph. Can we go back? Or Commissioner Randolph, can you turn your microphone on?
I got it.
No.
It's
Is it on?
Oh, it is? We do this, what happens to the previous motion that Mr. Doherty and I voted? Does it override?
Correct.
Okay,
It would-
okay,
it
that's
would-
fine,
What it does is it basically takes that postponement motion,
that's fine.
if we
That's fine. Okay.
affirm this, and it basically just negates it.
Okay.
And a new motion can then come forward. Great question. Again, we have a motion by Commissioner Richard, second by Commissioner Fitzmaurice. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 2018-1132-MSP, a minor subdivision of 1.3 acres, Emmanuel Silva Estate partition, Lot 8 and part of Lot 9 into Lot 9A and 8A, Ward 9, District 14. The owner, Adrian Bolden, Surveyor J.V. Burks and Associates, Inc. Parish Council District Representative, the Honorable T.J. Smith. Staff.
The reason for the public hearing is that one parcel within the minor subdivision does not have road frontage. The parcel does not meet the minimum requirement of 1 acre, and the parcels are a part of a previously approved minor subdivision. The owner is proposing to create 2 parcels from a 1.3 acre parent parcel and a private drive to provide access to only 1 parcel and is exempt from the parish road construction standards. The survey will need to be amended to reflect a minimum of 35-foot access servitude. The property does not meet the minimum lot size requirements for a minor subdivision, which is 1 acre. Additionally, if they were granted a waiver of the minimum lot size, they would need a waiver for the community water and sewer, as there is none available in the area. If the commission decides to approve this request, a waiver of the regulations are required relative to the parcel size and community water and sewer. A 2/3 majority vote of full membership of the commission is needed in order to approve pursuant of Section 125.244 waiver of the regulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Would you state your name and address for the record?
Adrian Bolden, my address is 36272 Salmon Street, Slidell, 70460.
Thank you, ma'am. And the reason for the request?
Well, my mother left me the property that's on our family property. She gave me my share with my home, been at for 40-some years. And she gave it to me before she passed. And I want to fix it so I could have it subdivided so I could pay my own taxes on my property. Because already helping our family pay property tax also.
Very good, thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of this? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Randolph. With waiver? Motion by Commissioner Randolph.
There's going to be 2 waivers, so one's for the lot size.
So again, a motion by Commissioner Randolph to approve with both waivers. Commissioner Richardson. Second by Commissioner Richardson. Commissioner Dougherty.
Ms. Bolden, what are y'all, there's 2 homes on the property that's being re-subdivided. One is a slab apparently, and it's not fully shown on the plat, and then the other one's a wood frame house. What are y'all doing for sewage and water right now?
Well, I have my sewage and water, and where my mother's house at, she have hers, and my brother's in the trailer, which is not even on that. But everybody have their own sewage and water.
Okay. All right, that's all I had. Thank you.
And we don't buy you Liberty Water.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments of the commission? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Randolph to approve with both waivers, second by Commissioner Richardson. Please vote. Remind the commission it'll take 8 votes to approve.
Motion approved. 9 approved, 1 denied.
Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
10, my math is off.
Is there any new business to come before the commission? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.